Are you doing everything right to lose weight? You've cut carbs, you're getting enough protein, you're exercising, and your sleep is pretty good, and stubborn excess fat still won't budge? Before you beat yourself up about it, any more than you probably already are, let's talk about something that doesn't get enough attention: your thyroid. Weight loss is not all about calories and willpower and discipline. Hormones have a huge impact. So in today's video, let's talk about the role of thyroid hormones in metabolism and how you can determine if suboptimal thyroid levels are impacting your weight loss, even if you've been told your thyroid is normal. Hey everyone, this is low carb and keto nutrition specialist Amy Berger, and you're watching Keto Without the Crazy, where I talk sense, sanity, and simplicity about low carb and ketogenic diets. I also happen to be extremely passionate about thyroid. So if these issues are important to you, if these resonate with you, please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss future videos. Let's get right into it. What does your thyroid do, and why are thyroid hormones so important when it comes to weight loss? Your thyroid gland, which is here, by the way, it sits in front of your windpipe in your neck. Your thyroid gland produces hormones that basically control your metabolic rate. And what that means is they regulate how well your body produces energy, how much energy your body produces, how well your body converts fuel, i.e. food, into energy. And what is body fat except stored fuel, right? So if we want to lose weight, we want to burn this fat, then thyroid hormones are going to have a big effect. In this video, I'm talking exclusively about hypothyroidism, or what happens when your thyroid hormones are too low. There's also hyperthyroidism, which is when you have overactive thyroid and the hormones are too high. That's a whole separate topic. Today, let's focus really on hypothyroidism. And hypothyroidism can affect anyone at any age. It is far more common in women than men, and it tends to be a little more common around sort of the perimenopausal years and beyond, but it can happen in younger women any age. There is a 9-to-1 ratio of women to men when it comes to hypothyroidism, meaning for every one man that has it, 9 women have it. So fellas, if this doesn't apply to you, keep watching, because you might hear something today that could really help a woman in your life. Your wife, your mother, your sister, your daughter. You might hear something that could be really beneficial for them. Let's walk through the signs and symptoms of hypothyroidism so you can determine whether you think you might have this, whether it's something you should look more into with your doctor. And please understand that what I'm going to tell you here is the short list. I am not exaggerating when I say that thyroid hormones impact every single process in your body. Every cell, every organ, every gland, every tissue system. There is not one single thing in your body that is not affected somehow by thyroid hormones. Which means when your thyroid hormones are not at the levels they need to be for your body to function best, you could have any number of symptoms in all parts of your body, all ways of functioning. Probably at the top of the list of low thyroid signs and symptoms is weight gain or inability to lose weight, even on a keto diet, even on a carnivore diet, even with exercise. When you are doing all the right things and weight is not moving, either you're trying really hard to lose weight and it's not budging, or you've maintained a weight that you're happy with for a long time, no problem, and with no change to your diet, exercise routine, you just start gaining weight inexplicably. So unexplained weight gain or inability to lose weight, huge red flag when it comes to thyroid. Another big one, fatigue, really low energy, feeling tired and sluggish regardless of how well you slept. Another one, feeling cold all the time, even when everyone else around you is not cold, but like you're freezing. It could be the dead of summer and you're freezing cold. Constipation, brain fog, hair loss, low libido, dry skin, problems with your nails, high cholesterol. It really, really runs the gamut. And the reason why these signs and symptoms occur is precisely because your body is not able to produce energy. So, of course, you have fatigue. Of course, you're cold all the time because your body is not even generating heat. It cannot even heat itself enough to keep you warm. In fact, back in the day, before advanced tests existed for thyroid hormones, doctors used to diagnose low thyroid based on your body temperature. Some of the more savvy or the more old school medical professionals still do that today. In conjunction with lab tests, they will typically have you monitor your body temperature. The brain fog, too. I mean, this is sort of an unscientific way to say it, but think of it like even your thoughts are slowing down. Your ability to comprehend and process information has slowed down. Depression is a huge one. Think of that almost as your emotions are slowing down. Something else that's important to keep in mind when it comes to thyroid hormones is that a lot of the signs and symptoms we just went through are what they call nonspecific, meaning they could be caused by any number of things, right? You could gain weight for a lot of different reasons. You could be losing hair for a lot of different reasons. You could have a lot of reasons causing constipation. So if you only had one of those, you wouldn't automatically assume, oh, it must be my thyroid. No, there's any number of other things should be looked into. But if you start checking off many of the hypothyroid signs and symptoms, then it sort of helps you narrow down and focus in like, oh, what do all of these things have in common? They all could potentially be coming from low thyroid. Did any of those signs and symptoms ring a bell for you? Are you dealing with those? Do you already know you have hypothyroidism? Leave a comment because you are not alone. I do read all the comments. If you get a reply from me, it's not a bot. How can you confirm whether you actually do have hypothyroidism or not? Test, don't guess. Don't assume anything. You want to get the blood work to corroborate the symptoms and signs that you are experiencing. And the problem with thyroid testing is that when you ask for a thyroid test or your doctor says, I checked your thyroid, it typically means one test and one test only, and that's the TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. And the problem with this is that in so many people, the TSH is normal, but there's a host of other thyroid hormones that could be low. I see this in my clients all the time. It is so common. And to be clear, sometimes the TSH is sufficient to identify a thyroid problem, but it's not always, particularly if the TSH is normal, but you have all these signs and symptoms screaming off the chart. Do not settle for being told that everything's normal when you feel like yesterday's garbage. So how do you move beyond TSH? You have to insist on a full comprehensive thyroid panel. There's many other tests that you need to include. Off the top of my head, your total or free T4, free T3, reverse T3. You could also include thyroid antibodies if you want to rule out a possible autoimmune thyroid issue. In the United States, in most states, you can order these labs on your own without a doctor because, unfortunately, a lot of doctors will flat out refuse to order these for you. So take matters into your own hands if you need to. You have to advocate for yourself. You deserve to feel your best. Why would you need to test these other thyroid hormones besides TSH? Well, TSH comes from your pituitary gland. It doesn't even come from the thyroid gland. The hormones that the thyroid actually produces, the T4 and T3, are the ones that actually control that metabolic rate, that regulate how your body produces energy, that help you feel your best. And it's actually really only the T3. T4 is considered an inactive precursor to T3. So if you only measure TSH and that's normal, what happens if your actual thyroid hormones, the T4, but especially T3, if those are in the basement, no wonder you feel awful. Let's talk about keto diets and thyroid. Does keto help low thyroid? Sometimes yes, not always. I wish that I could tell you, oh, just ditch the carbs and everything's going to fix itself. That doesn't happen all the time. There's plenty of reports of people adopting a low-carb, keto, or even carnivore diet and being able to reduce or eventually completely stop their thyroid medicine. Great. Awesome. We love to hear that. It doesn't happen for everybody. And of course, if you're out there watching and you've had your thyroid gland removed or irradiated because of thyroid cancer or Graves' disease, you will need thyroid hormone medicine for the rest of your life. You can't fix that with a diet. You might be able to use less medicine because if you improve the way that your body metabolizes overall via a keto or carnivore diet, you might be more receptive to the medicine. Your body might be more sensitive to it, but you will never be able to stop taking it altogether. You might have heard that keto is bad for the thyroid or carnivore is bad for the thyroid. This is a pretty common thing that gets said out there. And there's a tiny kernel of truth to it, but not for the reason you think. Sometimes when a keto diet induces hypothyroidism, for lack of a better phrase, it's not really the lack of carbohydrate that's the problem. It tends to occur in, again, mostly women who are exercising a ton and not eating enough. They are underfueling. They are asking their body to do too much with too little nutritional replenishment and physical rest. And so as a defense mechanism, as a protective measure, your body slows your metabolic rate so that you don't burn out and just collapse on the floor. Your body will not let you go at that pace. So it lowers the thyroid hormones to do what? To conserve energy. It's not going to let you burn through all that energy. But this is not unique to keto. This would happen on any way of eating where somebody is not eating enough overall and B, particularly combining under eating with over exercising and not getting enough rest. So that being said, there are some people who feel better when they eat a little more carbohydrate. What? You could increase calories if the issue is that you're under eating. You could increase calories by eating more protein, eating more fat, and you can try that. But the fact is, what we hear more often from people in this situation is that what helps them much more is just increasing their carb intake. We're not talking 200 or 300 grams a day, but a little bit of starch with dinner, maybe some starch post-workout. And we're not talking junk carbs and just refined sugar and crap. We're talking still about sort of healthy, whole, real food, if you will. That's a loaded phrase, but just talking about whole food starches. There seems to be, at least for some people, something unique about increasing carbohydrate intake that increasing protein and fat does not accomplish in this hypothyroid situation. So don't be afraid of carbs if you're in this situation, because the keto world and especially the carnivore world, but both worlds, have gone a little too far in demonizing carbohydrate across the board. And I think we can all agree there's billions of healthy people all around the world who eat starch. So it's not the carbohydrate per se that's causing obesity and diabetes and all these other issues, right? How can you support your thyroid naturally? Are there certain things that you could do to possibly, goose this process along and help support healthy thyroid hormones? Yeah. Number one, eat enough. What did we just say? When you're not eating enough, your body's going to conserve. Your body's not going to let you use all that much energy when you don't have enough energy coming in. So make sure that you are eating adequate food in total. You might need a little bit more carbohydrate in that total amount of food. And what you eat matters. There are numerous specific nutrients, vitamins and minerals that are very important for healthy thyroid hormone production and for all the feedback loops that have to happen to keep these things at the appropriate level. So you've probably already heard or that iodine is very important, selenium, vitamin A, iron. I mean, I probably couldn't name a nutrient that doesn't have some kind of impact on thyroid function. So just make sure that you're eating good, nutritious foods. Apart from food, food isn't the only thing that affects thyroid. So get enough sleep, manage your stress. Again, when you're like burning the candle at every end and you're not sleeping and your body is in this constant like turmoil state, what's going to happen? Your body is going to protect you by slowing things down, right? It's not going to let you keep continuing at that pace. What if you're already doing all of this? You're eating a good, nutritious diet. You're not going overboard with exercise. Your sleep is pretty good. All of these things that could support healthy thyroid hormones. What if it's still not working? What if you still have all your same signs and symptoms? Well, you might just need thyroid medicine. We tend to poo-poo medication and pharmaceuticals a little too much in the keto world. There is nothing wrong with taking something that can really help you when you need it. And I can guarantee there's probably a lot of you watching right now who are already taking thyroid medicine, and yet you're still dealing with a lot of the issues we talked about earlier. What does that tell you? I'm either not on the right type or the right dose of thyroid medicine. And if you need to know more about this, I'm going to link in the notes to a much, much more detailed video I've done about this where I walk through all of this, because some of you have likely been told your thyroid levels are normal even when your doctor or other healthcare professional runs all the tests I mentioned earlier, not just the TSH, but they're measuring the T3, the T4, the reverse T3. If everything is normal, they'll say, well, your medicine doesn't need to be changed. All your levels are normal. Wrong. X right through that. I had a client once who said, normal is a setting on a washing machine. Normal is not an adjective we should use to describe human hormones. I could not agree more. If you take nothing else away from this entire video, take this. Normal does not mean optimal. Just because you fall within the normal range for a certain hormone, be it TSH, be it T3, reverse T3, doesn't mean that that is the level at which your body, your individual constitution needs to be to function best. And how can you tell if you are at the optimal levels for you? Your symptoms. Please, everyone, I am not telling you to disregard your lab values, not at all. But in my opinion, how you feel is the most important thing. And if you're dealing with all of those signs and symptoms, or many of them, then clearly, even if you are normal, it's not optimal for you. So that was kind of just a quick whirlwind tour of all things thyroid, kind of a broad overview. Again, if you need to know more about this, if you've never heard before that TSH is not enough, or like if your levels are normal, you might still have not the right levels of thyroid hormones that you need to feel best, definitely check out that video that I'm going to link to in the notes. And remember, if you've been gaining weight unexplainably, if you've been really stuck on a low-carb or keto diet, it could be your thyroid. I would hate for you to restrict more and more. Maybe I need to fast more. Maybe I need to cut dairy. Maybe I need to cut artificial sweeteners. Maybe you do. Or maybe it's your thyroid. Maybe your own body is sort of giving you this big obstacle, and no amount of restriction is going to help. In fact, that often makes it worse. So definitely look into these thyroid issues if this is resonating with you. And please tell me about your experience. Leave a comment. Do you have a great thyroid doctor? Do you work with someone who actually gets this, who understands thyroid the way I've talked about it here? Are you on thyroid medicine? Has it changed your life the way it did mine? Has it helped you come back to life the way it did for me? Or are you kind of still struggling? Wherever you are, leave a comment. I care about you, and you might say something that helps someone else too. So until next time, be sure to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful, and share it with someone who you think needs to hear it. Until next time, thanks for watching, and keep the crazy out of your keto.